We're live with finally a live wind farming video. Properly live today. Sorry for the slightly late stream. People, what is this? Enticity is busy gorsting. Anyways, hopefully it wasn't too long of a wait. And yeah, the plan for today is to get some wins in with the Lizardmen. So let's go ahead and set that up. Where is it at? Ranked matchmaking. There we go. And hopefully we don't get annihilated today. Yeah, that's right. I got a haircut. I'm super self-conscious about it now. But yeah, shouldn't hopefully be fun. So the reason that we're playing Lizardmen today is primarily because I feel like they're going to be one of the top dogs after a wave of nerfs comes and destroys Slaanesh and the vampire counts, as we saw in the tournament hosted by the wonderful Creative Assembly, the developers of Warhammer, of course. It was pretty crazy. It was pretty crazy how much we saw Slaanesh in the vampire counts. So I think it's fairly likely that we see at least some sort of nerfs to them. Sorry, just adjusting my fan. And then yeah, and then I think after that, Lizardmen will be one of the top factions, along with probably a lot of the other Chaos guys, you know, Tzeentch, Khorne, and so on. So let's see how it goes. Looking spiffy, my man. Thank you. Any Lizardmen versus Slaanesh builds that are capable? Actually, I do have one. Let's see. Although we are in land battle, but the one that you saw sort of that I loaded in earlier is roughly what I would like to take against Slaanesh. So, you know, a whole bunch of skink skirmishers. You take a whole bunch of Saurus. Feral cold ones are great. And yeah, basically that. Now, let's see. What are we on? Steps of Isha. Boy, that is a weird map. All right. Interesting. Well, this is going to be, man, this is going to be like my first land battle in a while using these new factions. We'll see how it actually ends up playing out. Against the High Elves, generally, I like to go for a big sort of monster rush type build. So Krokar is probably quite good here. I will take Rev Crystal to sort of help buff him up. You know what? Let's take 2 Rev Crystals to make sure that he's as strong as possible. As for the caster, I will go for, let's see, Lore of Heavens. You know, we could do Comet of Cassandora, but it's not actually that crazy good here. I think I'd rather have Lore of Beasts. And since it is a land battle, dare I take the Amber Spear? I think we will. Just to stick it to the man. Put this guy into Pterodon. Yeah, it is, you know, it is a comb over. At least I don't have the mustache. Thankfully, I'm completely unable to grow a good mustache. Prepared to be dodged if people recognize me? I'm sure they won't. I'm sure it'll be completely fine. All right. Let's see now. How did I want to do this rush? Saurus are usually an amazing option here. ROR red-crested skinks are great. Chameleon skinks are pretty good. I don't really have the funds for them though. I'm thinking maybe I cut a Rev Crystal. I think on the cavalry front, I'm fairly happy, but I do want to slam in a couple more Pterodon riders. So let's see. You know what? I think we will have to cut the Rev Crystal. 2 monsters will likely be enough for the job here, especially since I have my Manticore summons. And instead, that will allow me to go a little bit heavier on the Pterodon play. Pterodons are just a great tool in general for rock dropping the enemy, basically. All right, there we go. This feels about right. One skink just to help with the anti-kite. And I think we're basically set. 20 chameleon skinks. That would be quite strong. Although, actually, no, even against a lot of cavalry builds, that would do okay if they had unit caps and you didn't. Ooh, yeah, next time with Muddins. Oh, man, yo, I have not grown hair further than, like, this tiny area over here in the longest time, man. Yeah, the clever girls, they did actually get buffed, which helps them a lot. Enticity, please tell me you're doing a This Is Total War campaign with the Ultimate Crisis option. You know it, man. You know it. 100% I'm going to be doing that as soon as it's available. You think vampire counts are only A? Nah, I'm starting to feel like they're probably S minus at this point. S tier for me means that they're strong enough where they're really shaping up the meta and people are going out of their way to learn them. And that is exactly what we're seeing with the vampire counts. Now, all right, this map. It's a bit of a weird map. It's very choke point heavy, as we can see. And overall, I would say this is in slight favor to the high elves. You know, we generally are not very worried about getting flanked by cavalry. We have very strong cavalry of our own, but because of the choke point, it's a little bit scary, as I won't easily be able to sneak up behind them. Though I will be putting in some commando skinks in the forest to try and get there. We have Kroq-Gar taken into the open field, and then the Rev Crystal's gonna be hiding in the trees so it doesn't get shot up by bolt throwers. That's a general gist of what I'd like to do today. There's a fairly elite army, but I feel like between the Amber Spears and the Rock Drops, we should be fairly fine. You didn't cheat? Who didn't cheat? How do you avoid focus fire with monster builds? Usually you just run in a circle, stay away from the nets, and you're good to go. Is multiplayer balance on ultra units? I would say yeah. I haven't really noticed a big difference between ultra and large. There's like some very small minor things, but I don't feel like it's hugely game changing that's the case. Oh man, if he brings Imric, that would be quite something, wouldn't it? I feel like Imric would have a hard time versus Kroq-Gar. I'd probably have to poke him down with the Pterodon Riders, get some support there, but sort of his big problem is that he's insanely expensive. Alright, and here we go. So, for the build of my opponent, in game number 1, we have the Everqueen's Court Guard, Sisters of Avalorn. Very, very expensive unit. We got the Techless. He has the net. He has the Fiery Convocation. Definitely don't want to be getting hit by that. So sort of splitting our units will do well there. And then the Pterodons are just gonna... Actually, let's see here. The Pterodons are gonna be a little bit... Oh, whoops, we've taken a brutal volley there. Poor Kroq-Gar. But yeah, the Pterodons want to just beeline it towards that. Oh, and the net. And the net. Let's see. Can I disrupt them with an Amber Spear? Because that's actually going to hurt a lot. Little misplay on my part. We're going to take a little bit of unnecessary damage on Kroq-Gar. Thankfully, the net should drop in a second. And then we can get him out of there. There we go. And here we go. Time for the rock drop volleys. There we go. That's number 1. And then number 2. And then number 3. So there we go. A little bit of a messy engage up front too. You know, honestly, we're sort of mucking up this fight, I would say. He's gonna be throwing down a pretty scary spell too. The Sisters of Avalorn are all alive. Yeah, I'd say this is not going especially great for me. Now, obviously, he does have a primarily melee build, and I think that's going to be helping us out here as I can sort of focus more on my cycle charging with my lord and such. It is going to be a bit rough that we don't have easy access to. Man, we're getting annihilated here. This build, it's doing so well. There we go. Second drop away. All right, I need to focus up here. Sort of the main problem that we're seeing right now is that our Saurus are not really getting good fights at all. Our feral cold ones are taking bad engagements. Yeah, I don't know. Am I just washed up? Am I just washed up when it comes to land battles? This went way worse than I thought it would. Oh my gosh. All right, let's pull these guys back. I don't think we're completely doomed just yet. So the Saurus are going to be trading fairly well. I think I definitely want to get rock drops on these guys. We're going to pull away. And then probably focus on my skirmishing power to do well here. There we go, that rock drop. Taking out most of the rest of the Sisters. And then the feral cold ones are just going to get ready to go into a kiting style of game. I can be pretty cost efficient with Kroq-Gar. Unfortunately, we do lose our caster, which is a huge loss on my part. Definitely don't want to be having that happen. But on the plus side, we will be able to at least finish off those Sisters of Avalorn. Plus, we have Kroq-Gar, he's still alive. We might be able to take a pick on Techless here. As for the Phoenix, I'll mostly just be ignoring that for now. then we'll see how this goes. First game of the day, don't count practice game. yeah, it's totally just a practice game, guys. Oh boy, now balance of power is still fairly even, and we might have a little bit of a comeback here. Those are normal spearmen. Of course, I do have the superior skirmishing force. Kroq-Gar is going to do great against Teclis. So I wouldn't say it's completely over yet. In fact, we might even be slightly ahead here based on the current state of the battle. But it really depends on how well Kroq-Gar does. Mostly, I want to finish off Teclis, and then I'm going to have my Pterodons at the ready to sort of finish him off quickly, or to chase him off the map when I can. Come on, Kroq-Gar. I'm really hoping that the Phoenix sort of stays away from this fight too, as it is very it's a very high impact unit. It could potentially turn the tables for my opponent here, but overall I'd say things are going well enough. Teclis is trying to escape now. Thankfully we do have the chase on him now, and we can throw another heal on Kroq-Gar. This is one of the great things about the Rev Crystal. It is just a really good tool for keeping your lords alive when you otherwise wouldn't have healing magic. Alright, but here's the plan. Gonna focus fire Teclis, see if we can get him to rout. I believe he just threw a heal on himself. So, we'll sort of see how that plays out. I do have my Saurus, they are mostly winning the fight, and actually we're starting to come back on balance of power. So, you know what? I think we won this against all odds. I really thought the Saurus would do worse in that frontline fight. But with Teclis just getting hugely beat on by Kroq-Gar, I think we won it. Oh my gosh, what a surprising match though. I guess it was mostly spears. I thought it was just a front line of Silverin, but yeah, Kroq-Gar is just too much of a beast. Man, I couldn't even look at chat, I was so worried, but yeah, look at that. Balance of power is now very well in our favor. I think the single entity fight's just hugely going well for us now. It's mostly infantry, which will traditionally trade very badly into single entities. So I'll just sort of run this guy off the map, use the Rev Crystal to heal cap Kroq-Gar. There's no way Teclis will take him out either, just because of his relatively low melee stats, and then it should be the win. Look at that. Life has found a way indeed. Oh man. Oh, I don't know what went wrong for him. Just like suddenly my infantry did way better. He's gonna throw down a net on Kroq-Gar here. Thankfully there aren't too many Sisters of Avalorn left. And I believe, there we go, with another heal. Kroq-Gar should be just fine. The Rev Crystal's great, just because it has 7 heals. All of those combined will generally get you to heal cap, so I'd say it's a pretty safe bet. Nice, so that Phoenix should be out of the question now. And it's just Teclis. Now I do have to be careful that we don't lose Kroq-Gar here. There is always a chance that he gets annihilated by Teclis, especially since there is a bit of spear support. But it shouldn't be a problem. Yeah, the martial prowess ended. That's true. So here's an interesting thing. Martial prowess, and it leaves now when they're below 25% HP. But Lizardmen also got a buff to their primal instincts, which enable when they hit 50% HP. So things got like, the battle went really badly for the High Elves as soon as I dropped below 50 and they dropped below 25%. And that's probably what got my Saurus to really win the fight there. But it was like really just a flip. Just suddenly they started wrecking face. Yeah, the Saurus got way better. I will say though, I was very surprised about it. I thought we were totally doomed for a second there, especially with some of those elite guys. But yeah, the Saurus pulled through. Teclis is gone. And that's the first victory of the day. Amazing. All right, I'll take it. I honestly was not expecting it to go that way, but that's why we're doing these win farms, so I can get a good feel for these factions. GG. Let's take a look at Kroq-Gar real quick with the mighty 3,500 damage. Amazing. I threw my caster away like a madman. But of course the Rev Crystal paid for itself in healing. You can tell based on Kroq-Gar's value, all the Saurus traded amazingly. And yeah, honestly, he had mostly spears. Some of them did get a pretty good amount of value, but a lot of his elite infantry actually did worse than you would expect. Phoenix did okay. Teclis probably didn't pay for himself for how expensive he was. Honestly, I sort of played pretty bad that game, but the power of Lizardmen carries. Yeah, that was a fun comeback. Although I don't think I was down balance of power at any point. Hey, Comk, hello, hello. All right, back to the Lizardmen. There they are. Yeah, we're going to be doing a lot of wind farms if I want to cover every faction. There's so many. I think the only thing holding me back is the fact that some of them are terrible in domination. I don't know what I'm going to do with those guys. All right, Khorne on Steps of Isha. Again, all right, same map. Yeah, Techless usually isn't that worth it. He's a very expensive boy. Very, very expensive. Let's see, how do I kill Flesh Hounds? I believe Cold Wind Spear Riders, Armor Piercing, Anti-Large. Not the best against Flesh Hounds. I think we can do better. I would like to go a full kite build, though, against Khorne, just because I think it's fun and hilarious. So let's see if we can do that. I would like to go for, you know what? Yeah, we're gonna bring the Oxyotl. Gonna go the full Decrepit kite build. It's not the most optimal map for kiting, which I think should make it a bit more interesting. You also generally want a source of terror for these builds, and you also usually want a good deal of mobility. There is a lot of forest, so we do have to be a little bit careful on what we bring. Loads of javelins, though, will always do great. Stegodon, really nice source of sort of terror. Can ward off a lot of units for us, single entities especially. And then, is there a little bit more ranged action I can get in here? Troglodon, maybe. It does fit perfectly with that spending. I'm very tempted to try out the Troglodon, though I think I do need Saurus Spears, unfortunately. Let's just go with these guys and see how it goes. You know, it is Khorne. I don't think Khorne is especially scary in land battles, but I'm ready to be wrong. I'm ready to be proven wrong. We'll see. You can also take a Life Slawn and 8 Stegodons with Ballista. I don't think you can do that on ladder, just because of single entity limits. Is this a different discussion? Have us vote on which faction you'll do next stream? Oh yeah, that could be fun. Maybe at the end of the stream, if you guys stick around, then I'll do it. Yeah, we'll see. I think that's a good idea, though. Just remind me at the end of the stream. Yeah. We are limited by the max monster limit, unfortunately. All right, here we go. Cornflakes for breakfast. So, generally, the way that you play kite builds, you want to play... I can't believe I still have this cough. You want your opponent to take a bad engagement somewhere. And generally, you can tease those out by having a bunch of range pressure and then falling back to your melee troops. But if they ever get good contact with their melee forces, that's generally when things go very bad for you. So I'm going as wide as possible to try and split up those guys. I brought a very mobile build to make sure that his armor can't really get to me. And then we have a decent amount in the back to kite. It is mostly forest, which makes range play a little bit harder, but I think we should be fine. As far as army, it is fairly small, so I would say we're already in a pretty good position. Let's see how it goes. If you take, the full Stegodon Monster Mash is a list when it comes to tabletop. Oh, really? That's pretty cool. If you take a specific sub-faction, I like it. But yeah, anyways, let's take a look at my opponent's army. He thankfully doesn't have too many mobile units by the looks of it, unless they're in the forest. I'm noticing a lot of these guys aren't very elite, just some Chaos Warriors and... Ah, there we go. There's where his money went into. Chosen and a couple Skull Crushers. So generally not a very optimized build against this. I think he's going to have a pretty rough time by the looks of things, but we'll see. The plan for the Furies, if they do land on your range units, a nice trick you can do to sort of avoid damage from them is to just run full away from them. If you beeline away from them and countercharge with cavalry, they generally won't do too much damage. And on top of that, they will take a ton of damage from the cavalry. They're very squishy, very much a glass cannon unit. So as long as you're sort of denying them that damage, you're fine. Now here's sort of the situation I was talking about, right? My opponent has a lot of forces that are a good deal faster than his infantry. You know, he has these Skull Crushers, he has his hero squads, but if I pull away from those heroes when they actually charge in towards me, then generally they don't have a very good time, as they'll be completely surrounded by my cavalry. So as long as I can sort of stay away from his infantry and aggressively take fights where those infantry aren't, I should be having a leg up. You can see he already senses a danger, retreats with his cavalry over there. I believe his lord is getting a little bit close for comfort here, so Oxyotle's going to retreat away from him. And then over here, it's going to be a little bit of a mash in the forest. Thankfully, I do have the Stegodon here. He'll be great against these Skull Crushers. And then as long as we run away from those, from the Furies, we're basically good to go. Good luck with the stream. Thank you very much. You will start from the start, so rip chat experience. Yeah, honestly, I feel like YouTube really sort of mucks up that side of things where the chat still shows the real-time chat instead of it shows the real-time chat instead of the chat that you would expect to see when you rewind in a video. I feel like that makes for a bad experience, but you know, what can you do? Aren't Chameleon Skinks very good anti-range counters? They are, yeah. Chameleon Skinks are one of the best skirmish units in the game. They are amazing, man. But yeah, it looks like the cavalry force over there is mostly dealt with. I believe he just has a couple of heroes that I need to run away from. They're not too bad. I can focus them down with my cavalry. And over here, these halberds, we're just going to deny the engagement. A very nice strategy for Lizardmen. As long as you're sort of, you can basically always take favorable fights if you do things just right. And as you can see, it's very painful for him. He's gone only 600 gold value, and we're almost 4 times that at this point. This is going to be pretty rough for him. Although, you know, it's not completely unusual. Most kite builds, generally, they will live on the knife's edge, where either they're dominating or they're getting absolutely ravaged. So not exactly the most unexpected thing ever. You think the General Khorne Lord looks cooler than the released legendary champion? I think all of them are pretty cool. Like Valkia's, I'm a pretty big fan of Valkia, I would say. You know, she's pretty cool. The generic Chaos Lord of Khorne though is still amazing too. I'm sort of a fan of all of them. Not gonna lie. But yeah, Valkia does sort of lack a lot of that heavy armor though, that I think really gives a lot of the appeal to Khorne. But you know, what can you do? What can you do? At least she brings a bit of variety. It is sort of sad though that I feel like honestly in multiplayer, Valkia isn't the most meta thing in the world, I would say. From what I can tell, mostly because she doesn't cause terror, Valkia is sort of she's sort of not really that strong. Yeah, I don't know. It's a lot of it sort of feels like, oh man, the Blood Reaper, he's really going for Oxyotl, but I just have too many layers of support. I don't think Oxy's ever gonna really die here. But yeah, Valkia, she doesn't cause terror, unlike the other flyers. Even compared to Azazel, she, not having terror is really rough for her. And then on top of that, she's a little bit squishy too. She's not really that much of a better fighter compared to like Scarbrand. In fact, she's not really a better fighter compared to the sort of, exalted, not bloodletters, but you know what they mean. You know what I mean, you know, the Scarbrands. So I feel like overall, she doesn't really have a place on the roster compared to the other guys. Unless you're talking campaign, of course, in which case everything's strong, but yeah, what can you do? I think Azazel is an amazing guy for Slaanesh, though. We'll definitely be seeing a lot of him, just because he's mobile terror, and he's also just he's just a very strong lord overall. Huge leadership debuff, value, very good fighter. He's a flyer, which is something that Slaanesh doesn't really have a lot of access to. It's pretty good. But yeah, these poor Chosen, like if we look at their value, they got 47 kills. They killed about 2 goblins worth of value. Poor guys. Yeah, Chosen definitely, this is not a build that they want to be running into at all. My goodness. Let's see, what are we going to do with this Stegodon? If this was like a super competitive game, I'd bring it back here, but I think it ends faster if we finish off those Skull Crushers. Want to push them into army losses as soon as possible. And I think we can do that just by killing off his infantry. That's the hope anyways. Just make Valkia super cheap, bam, fixed. Honestly, that's not too bad. As a cheap lord, she could probably fill a nice niche there. I think at the moment, sort of the main competitor as a cheap lord is what's it? The blood herald guys. I think they're just called heralds of Khorne. Yeah, they're sort of the main competitor to Valkyr right now, as they give insane buffs for the units around them. You could also make the gaze of Khorne around Valkyr a lot stronger. You know, make her sort of an alternate mobile buff lord and have her overshadow the heralds. I guess that's also an option. There's a few ways you can go about it. You can make her where she's roughly even with them, but she's a lot more mobile. That's another nice way to take it. But yeah, dwarves are weaker than Norska, so basically a good spot. Man, have you guys seen Turn's tournament? The poor, like, what's it? Well, actually, no. The biggest loser was actually the Demons of Chaos. I will say, I was pretty worried about the Demons of Chaos before. Man, that guy's taken forever to crumble down. I was sort of worried about the Demons of Chaos before. Where, man, people say that domination games are long. This also lasted 11 minutes. About how long a domination game would last, but I'm not going to hound on that debate too much. But anyways, what was I saying? Yeah, the tournament. Demons of Chaos, they literally only got played once, and the one game where they got played, they lost. It was the saddest thing I've ever seen in my life. The poor Demons of Chaos. They were working, like, people were really pushing to have them added into the tournament scene. And when they finally got added, they were just sort of bad. I feel like the biggest problem, even though they have really good units, is that they're very predictable. Sort of like Wood Elves, where you can count on them having essentially no armor. You can just hard counter them right away. Because, like, if you don't have to bring armor piercing, you can go all in on the light damage, and it's brutal, man. And to see, I don't know if this is replicable or intended, but Croak has no cooldowns on his nukes. Actually, that's interesting. He brought him as a legendary lord in Dom. Huh. I don't think that's how it was in my patch, but that's pretty surprising. We'll see. Maybe I'll play Croak and we'll see how it plays out. Let's see here. We got another... Yeah, play with the car now. I think at this point we can sort of start experimenting. I would like to go for a Saurian. Someone said Carnosaur. You know, we can do double Carnosaur. That's actually a pretty fun combo. Let's do that. We have been doing a lot of Krokgar. Dare I go all in? The Life Slon Saurian double Feral Carnosaur. Is this a good build? Probably not, but I think we can make it work. It's land battle. Land battle's sort of really interesting in that there's a lot of shenanigans, and I will call them shenanigans. There's a lot of shenanigans you can do that make land battles a lot easier for me to win against newer players. Since in domination, it's not too hard getting your bare bones value off just by sort of marching forwards and attacking. When it comes to land battles, there's a lot more mistakes to be made. Carnosaur's kind of a bad unit. It's actually pretty great. It was very meta in Warhammer 2 against Chaos, so I'd say I disagree. Test out the cooldown on Croak. We'll do that next. We'll do that next game. I feel like if I'm bringing a build like this, I very much want to have some healing. I feel like that would be a little bit important. Let's see here. Now we're up against Nurgle. There's a lot of ways to make Nurgle suffer. Probably, you know, if I really wanted to make Nurgle suffer, it'd be like something like this, right? Just the usual skink javelin spam. This is yeah, something like this. This is the jankiest build. A no Saurus build. Is that the plan today? And then we just spam heal these guys and kill Nurgle that way? Like, it's honestly not a terrible idea. We do have a lot of ammo, a lot of poke potential. And then this should be able to kill most things, I would say. Especially with cycle charging. Just have to worry about spawn mostly. Let's see, what could he bring that would really be scary? You know, this is probably good enough. We'll just run this. And then next up we'll try Croak. You hate getting kited to death? Oh yeah, Lizardmen are the kings of kite. But hey, you know, at least we're mixing it up a bit. This is 50% kite, 50% rip your face off. So, you know, best of both worlds. You were the Khorne player just now? Hey! Yeah, yeah. I brought the full kite against you, man. Yeah, you know, it's rough, man. You really have to bring tools to deal with it. I would say if you bring like 4 flesh hounds, that already makes it, that already helps you out a lot against kite builds, especially on a map like that. There's not as much space for me to retreat to. So something to sort of look at. Hey, look at that, he's ready. His build is 10 out of 10. It's a janky build. I'll say I'm not the most confident about it, but we'll see. What about Kugath? Kugath, he's not too scary. He might kill a couple skinks, but our main fighting force is 2 Carnosaurs and a Dreadsaurian. I'm pretty... If that can't kill Kugath, I don't know what will. Yeah, no, oh, geez, what happened to this map? Look at all those repeating textures. I feel like, I don't know. The way that they set this map up, I feel like... I'm not a big fan. I sort of like the more snowy map before, but I guess it is a glacial lake. Though lakes can be covered in snow, so I'm not sure. And today, by the way, we will be using the Dreadsaurian tactic of turning left and right to get our missiles to shoot. For those of you that haven't seen the video, the Dreadsaurian is indeed a boat. So if you take a quick look here, the skinks have machine guns on the flanks. So if you want to maximize damage while kiting with the Dreadsaurian, that's the way. Apparently. So, you know, there's a useless Enticity tip of the day for you guys. Yeah, the Dreadboat. The Dreadboat. He's gonna be pretty nice. It's gonna be pretty nice here. Now, I do have to be very careful with my ammo expenditure. We don't want to waste it. Mostly we want to focus fire the enemy. As far as army, it's fairly small. This makes our range a little bit stronger. And I think once we've whittled down most of the threats to these guys, we can just move in and kill them. Yeah, we're Canadian. I am indeed Canadian. Now, for his build, he's brought with him a Kugath and not a lot of mass. Actually, with the weird formation, he's gone for the... He's gone for the Nurgle, I don't even know what to call this. It's, I guess the Nurgle, it's not a blob, really. It's more of a... It's not a porcupine. It's a lot of boxes. Yeah, I honestly, I don't have words for this formation, but it's an interesting one. And we do see the Kugath here. Now, most of my skirmishers will do amazing versus Plague Bearers. Unfortunately, he does make the mistake of putting his low armored units up front. And you know what? I'm sort of feeling confident enough here to just straight up take the fight against Kugath. Gonna split our Carnosaurs a bit to get better coverage on the Kugath. And we can start healing them up. So let's just go ahead and pop that over there. This one's gonna disengage, make some room for the Dreadsaurian. And the Carnosaurs, they'll generally do better as cycle charging tools, while the Saurian is going to be staying in combat primarily. That's generally what we want to do. Yeah, the Nurgle dumpster build. I think that might be a good call. yeah, no, this is gonna be real rough. The thing about Kugath is that he is indeed an amazing fighter. He has a ton of healing. He can really put the hurt on many units, but against a Dreadsaurian, a little bit less so. Now, I will need to sort of finish off the... I do really want to finish off this Beast of Nurgle. It is reducing the melee attack of the Dreadsaurian, so we definitely don't want that to be causing too many issues. And it would make it very hard to kill off Kugath if that was the case. So I'm just going to finish that off first. As for the Carnosaurs, they're also going to be focusing that. Unfortunately, this Exalted Hero actually putting the pain on my Carnosaur over there. Thankfully, I believe we will be able to tear out him. Very nice. Let's go ahead and remove that Rampage real quick, and now we can head into this main fight. So, the general plan here is, yes, we will just finish off that Beast of Nurgle at all costs. Get the heals down with my Slon, healing 4 targets to maximize its efficiency. And then I think we're good to go. But honestly, the Skinks did so much damage here. Their focus fire onto those Plague Bearers was insane value for me. Yeah, the HP damage. Man, the Plague Bearers got ruined. Oh, by the way, Stream of Corruption got nerfed. So, just a heads up for anyone who plans to use it. It generally isn't actually that strong anymore. Yeah, this poor guy. We had a pretty nasty build against him, I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, let's go ahead and finish this off. I believe basically the biggest threat here is just Kugath. There are some chosen of Nurgle, but they're not especially scary here. as overall chosen. We can basically just ignore them and then Psycho Charge them down with our monsters after Kugath is down. Ooh, that's gonna be a pretty nice stream. Unfortunately, only normal cast is, so still not too much damage. Yeah, the Beast of Nurgle got annihilated, didn't it? Now Kugath, he is still a strong fighter. Against some of the best anti-large in the game, he will actually hold fairly well. But it's mostly just a problem that he... Oh, hey, thank you. Hey, Karen. Alex Karen, thank you for renewing your membership. Helps a lot, man. Helps a lot. But yeah, Kugath, he's unfortunately not going to be able to win this fight here. The thing is, though, generally, if you only have one single entity, this sort of shows why it's a bad idea to focus Kugath a lot of the time. And that's simply because he is just a beast. You tend to waste a lot of time just trying to bring him down. And then that's sort of when the rest of the Nurgle army gets going, and they'll give you a lot of trouble. So this is sort of just an exceptional circumstance that lets me do this. By the way, the reason the Blood Reaper took so long to crumble was Locus of Abjuration. Apparently crumbling caused magic damage, actually? That's interesting. So if you want to reduce crumbling, you can stack magic damage debuffs. All right, I'll take it. I thought that would make Khorne like normal Khorne what's-its perform pretty well. Like they're just like exalted bloodletters and such. Also, Kugath is a beast. I really thought he would die way faster here against the Doom Squad, but he's been tanking it out amazingly well here. I gotta say, really, moral of the story is never try to kill Kugath. Just kill everything else first, apparently. Because, like, look at this. He's only at half HP, the Madman. He's been shrugging off, like, just the strongest single entity squad I could possibly bring. Yeah, he does outduel Scarbrand. Human Boy did release a video, I think, showing that... I saw the title. Like, what, Kugath is, like, the strongest fighter out of every legendary lord in the game. Honestly, I'm not surprised. He has a huge HP pool, tons of armor. She's insane melee defense at like 70 for a second there. He's pretty good. He's pretty happy to be sitting in a fight. Armor piercing damage and insane heals. Yeah. He's no joke. Definitely no joke. Honestly, the Exalted Champions are doing quite well too. I would say, yeah, you know what? Kugath's just he's just taking so long. Like, we obviously won this fight. I would be really surprised if we lost this, but Kugath, he's almost hard carrying here. Yeah, I'm just gonna kill everything else off first, and then leave it to the army losses to kill him here, because this is taking far too long. I can't be bothered to watch a Dreadsaurian fight Kugath for the better part of 20 minutes. Yeah, he's too fat. There's just too much meat on those bones, man. I can't take him out. All right, there we go. There we go. Things are looking up a little bit. I just have a couple chosen left to route off. A couple over here. And then we'll be good. And then we'll be totally fine. Man, I gotta say though, very, very surprising. Yeah, too much chunk. I will say I am very impressed with how well he did. Very, very impressed. Obviously he wasn't killing the Dreadsaurian by any means, but he put a number on everything here. Like, if you take a look at his value, almost 4,000 gold value. That is insane. That is huge. Fortunately though, the Dreadsaurian probably gonna do not as well, but 2,000 still very good on it. Yeah, he's a pretty good damage dealer, I would say. I wouldn't say that he's like a terrible damage dealer. Like 500 damage armor piercing is pretty huge. It's just that he just you know, as a lone single entity, he won't really do too much. He doesn't have a huge amount of charge bonus either, so there's like a few things that hurt him there. I'm gonna heal up my Slon, by the way. The reason is so that I can get him to army losses faster. And yeah, you know what? For everyone who say, I gotta bring it up again, man. Everyone says domination games last too long. I'm pretty sure land battle games last just as long. Although domination games, they feel like they last longer, which is weird. I will say undoubtedly domination games feel like they last longer. So I don't blame people for feeling that way, but if we just take a look at the lengths of these games so far, it's actually pretty close. Honestly, I don't really have that many problems with land battles. I have a problem with people complaining about domination more than anything else. Yo, is this battle gonna end? What's going on? Kugath, calm down, my dude. He's not even heal capped. That's the scariest part. Kugath, I don't know if he's been healing himself. It's not showing a heal cap. I don't know if he's spammed a lot of fleshy abundances on him, but a lot of my guys are heal capped at this point. So I have no idea what's going on. Yeah, honestly, I don't have a problem with the long land battle games. I actually quite enjoy the really long grindy games. There we go. Thankfully, the army losses finally kicks in. Now he just has to crumble. But yeah, I actually don't have a problem with long games. I feel like usually if a game is lasting long, especially in a tournament, it's because it's a nicely contested game. You know, it's very even for both sides, and that means that there's a lot of stakes. So honestly, I'm quite happy with it. Kugath with a reverse sweep, yeah, while crumbling. That would be freaky, you know, just make him unbreakable. An unbreakable Kugath would actually just be insane. I think without a lot of range, he would just annihilate worlds. So I'm saying Enticity, I can't seem to make Beastmen work. Beastmen are really interesting. Generally, you want to get really good at your cavalry control, and then you want to bring skirmish cav. Both of those are very important for the Beastmen recipe. Chameleon Skinks as usual, amazing unit. All my ranged javelins paying for themselves because Plague Bearers just do not do very well against them. Kugath with casual 5,000 value. Yeah, pretty good, pretty good. GG, yeah, that was insane. Yeah, Giga Chonk Kugath. He was actually a beast there. Enjoy Minotaurs a lot. Not terribly competitive, but they do well against Ungors. I would agree. Well, actually, you know what? Well, yeah, they do well with Ungors. I think against Dwarves, they can do really well. The biggest problem with Minotaurs is that they have a really hard time killing monsters. Even the anti-large Minotaurs, they just can't really stand up because they rout so easily. They don't have that much HP. That's sort of one of the bigger problems with them, for sure. But alright. Hey, it's a domination game. Nice. So this is a good time to try out the good old... where is he at? Where is he at? Where's my boy? Croak. It's time. Lord Croak, the man himself. Usually if you take him, you want to cut this ability. It's a pretty good ability, but... you know, it's pretty good ability. Maybe I will run it. Yeah, we'll go the maximum Croak. Make him a bit expensive. Why not? And then for my hero... I'm actually a pretty big fan of going for the... Where's he at? Where is he at? I really like the tic-tac-toe pick. He's basically a Manticore at 800 gold. Nakai time? Yo, I should get Nakai going. I should get some... you know what? Let's get a little bit more thematic. You know what? We're playing against people who obviously aren't like the most notorious tournament players in the scene. Let's go with the Gorok. Gorok Croak combo. The classic. Where's my Itza banner? Here we go. Full thematic build. So what? We need a wait. There we go. There we go. Itza time. Now, generally, what does Itza really do? Are they more Saurus or are they like Croxagores? Croak budget Kugath. Oh, yeah. Croak. Well, actually, I don't know. Oh, okay. Now you're saying Croak is budget Kugath. Jeez, that took me a while to process. But yeah, it's a gang full Saurus. All right, I like it. Yeah, here we go. Here we go. Maximum Saurus build. We got the, let's see here. We can take 1 million in reserve. Temple Guard, obviously. Why would you not run Temple Guard? And then, let's see. You know what? Let's just make Gorok a beast. I feel like we have a little bit of leeway here to have some fun. There we go. And perfect spend up top. Amazing. Yeah, this is good. Super Saurus. So we got Gorok. He's walking. Insane physical resist. He's not going to take damage. We want to bring him below 50% HP so that he has... Actually, this is a terrible ability. It's not an AoE. I'm going to cut that. Actually, it's a perfect spend. I have to take it. But yeah, he has insane combat buffs. This stand your ground will help my Saurus fight way better. And then I believe... Probably pterodons. Well, we haven't even locked in our faction yet. So let's do that and see what he's bringing. Yeah, the full tankiness. We got the Lord Croak to punish him for blobbing. I like it. I'm a big fan. Let's see. Sorry, I just have to check something real quick. I was really hoping Turn would host a tournament today. I was all geared up yesterday to play in his tournament, but it looks like not today. Yeah, it's just Human Boy today. As much as I like land battles, I just can't play land battle tournaments anymore. Just because you have to really sort of cheese hard to get good value in there. Nothing against people that do enjoy playing land battle tournaments despite that. It's just not really my jam. But yeah, I'm sort of liking where this is going so far. I really do hope Turn hosts tomorrow, though. I'm so excited to get into tournaments. Let's see. It's the Dark Elves. It's the Dark Elves. Now, he could bring chariots. Brings cavalry. Honestly, this is more or less what I want. What? Oh, you know what? Pterodons are pretty good here. The rock drops. He can summon in harpies, but I can sort of retreat away from them. Yeah, you know what? This is good enough. This is good enough. Croak is amazing versus Dark Elves. Enticity, overconfidence. Yo, that's my goal every time, man. I gotta hype myself up. Gotta hype myself up at least a little bit, man. Is a pure Eshin themed army viable? I would say themed armies can always be viable if you're playing ladder, but they're never gonna be competitive just because the theming doesn't really do much for you, sadly. The last tournament was just Vampire Counts versus Slaanesh. That's true, that's true. I honestly quite enjoy the Vampire Counts Slaanesh dynamic. The weird thing about me, and many of you guys will be used to this at this point, but I am a man who just enjoys Warhammer. It can be Vampire Counts Slaanesh meta all the way, but the thing about the actually playing, like, I can tell from a viewer perspective that people get bored of it. Especially because it's hard to catch on the nuance if you haven't really played a lot in tournaments. But sort of the way that the matchup actually plays out in the mirrors and Vampire Counts versus Slaanesh, it's a lot more dynamic than you would think. A lot of people tend to sort of go on about how, like, oh, you know, it's just two sides grinding up against each other all the time. And that is not at all how it is. If you think it's all about grinding your units together, you're gonna do really badly in domination. Or at least you don't really get how it works, I would say. There's a lot of play on sort of ignoring the mortises and positioning well to get the most value. Whoops, I accidentally readied up too quickly. A little bit of BM on my part for my opponent. But yeah, there's like a lot of back and forth and positioning, maneuvering to steal points, the units that you summon to take back those points. It's like you can summon less efficient units to get points faster so that you have more time to trade cost efficiently. And there's a lot of play around mortises because it's such a high impact unit. There is a little bit of a problem though, and that's that the meta's not really that settled yet. So a lot of people don't know how to play around it. And then what you see even in the semifinals or top 8 is that people will make a misplay, they walk into a mortis and they lose. It's sort of like if you're watching a chess tournament and someone just makes a terrible misplay and their king gets checked. It's not gonna be very exciting. But as someone who has a lot of experience there, I watch those games and I'm like, oh my goodness, he's summoning in dogs now. Is that a risky pick because they generally trade very cost efficiently? Oh man, like look at that, he's getting into range of the mortis. That's really bad. If he stays in there like 10 more seconds, the game's probably over. He really needs to react to that. And then it's like, oh, he didn't react to that. I guess he actually just lost. But he could have won it. And it's like, man, there's so many things they could have done to be more efficient. But this obviously is coming from me having access for a while now. So, you know, I think it'll get better as time goes on. And it really depends on how the casters decide to go about it. Anyways, rant over. What are you guys talking about? Let's be honest, the best race is Dark Elves. They're the only elves that are actually close to competitive. So I can see why people like it. Now, he does have a Malice on foot. And this is actually going to be great because we get to test out the might of Gorok versus Malice. Now, I would say Gorok is fairly happy to take that fight here. Gorok is pretty happy to take that fight, I think. He has insane combat stats. I've taken basically every item on him. And for Malice, he basically only has Deadly Onslaught. Of course, he has some abilities that are great on him, just as a natural part of him. But overall, I think we're happy. Now, you might be wondering why I'm going for this point and not spreading out my forces. And that's because we have Lord Croak. I know that in a choke point fight, I am gonna win it. There is no way in the world that this guy's gonna beat me in a choke point fight, because as soon as his infantry try to stop me, we're gonna be doing good. So I have a lot of freedom to sort of just maneuver how I want to, and to take good trades, and to take my time with this battle. And that's actually one of the things that make Lizardmen so great, is that indeed they can really just take their time with engagements and such. Now here's the plan. He has some bolt throwers. He's going to be taking the middle. I think Gorok is just going to straight up contest Malice here now. He's taking a little bit more damage from these chariots than I would have hoped, but I think that's totally fine. And let's see, the Dark Shards are a little bit of an issue here. I'm going to go for... Let's see here. How do I want to play this out? You know what? I'm going to do it now. It's a bit risky if he's been saving up for Harpy summons, but I'm just going to straight up just get the Pterodons, drop on the Dark Shards, and we're good to go. Now, at the moment, unfortunately, he is a little bit distracted, and that means that, indeed, all of his Dark Shards are going to be suddenly dead now. There we go. That's a route for them. And then a second explosion popping off over here that's going to be annihilating the other Dark Shards. So that's a pretty nice early lead, I would say, as I believe they're both going to be routing. And yeah, I think the game's over. Now, as you can see, Croak actually is bugged. He doesn't have any cooldowns on his abilities. A little bit sketchy, as he's obviously a little bit of a terror here. But yeah, I think this is totally over. Malice just getting ravaged by Krokar. Oh my gosh, he even routed. That was so fast. Malice is usually a beast when it comes to combat, but I sometimes you forget how strong these dedicated fighter lords are. They can really put a hurting on you if you're not careful. Oh my goodness, this is devastation. Yeah, I'm a bug abuser now too. I'm a filthy bug abuser. Oh my goodness. Well, there goes all my credibility. I should report that to CA like right now. They should know. They should know that that's a bad idea. Man, not getting the transform on Malice too is such a huge value loss. Man, this is over. I don't even know if I have to summon in units. It's so over. Oh my goodness. Now he's gonna summon in Manticore, some cavalry. Not terrible choices. Let's bring up the Saurus to see if we can affect that fight. And then yeah, well, let's just end his existence real quick. Good old Croak. Oh yeah, you know what we haven't done today? We haven't done the cinematic shots, you know? People love the cinematography, so we got the Saurus. But suddenly there's no more Dread Spears. There we go now. Oh, did I miss that a bit? It seems like I missed a few of them. No, it hit all of them. Yeah, they're all dead now. Yeah, that's brutal. I think I did forget to turn off blood. Oh, I forgot to turn on blood. So let me just activate that real quick. Let's see here. I think I have to do it after the battle. That's fine. Yeah, pizza's been delivered. Man. Yo, the ladder games, I think we're playing against a lot of new players. Just because Immortal Empires is sort of drawing in a lot of new people into the multiplayer scene. I think that's amazing. And we're just thrashing them right now. Sometimes I wonder if these... Do I end up inspiring more people for multiplayer when I do this? Or do I end up turning more people away? One must wonder, because, you know, maybe we can consider this a worthy sacrifice, you know? Some people have to die to give the better promotion of ladder, but you know, if you guys do want to get into multiplayer, I do have a Discord dedicated to just grinding multiplayer and getting better. I'm very active on there too, so if you have any questions that you want to throw me, feel free to go into the description and say hello, because I would love to help you out. You know, it's the least I can do when I'm thrashing people on ladder. You gotta crack a few eggs to make an omelet. There you go. Ends justify the means, right? Perfect mentality. Some of you may die, but that's a sacrifice I'm willing to make. Wonderful meme. Yeah, honestly, like I can stop playing now and this game's over. You know what? Should I stretch a bit? I feel like I should stretch a bit. Let's see, what do I do? Yeah, let's stretch. There we go. Remember, guys? Remember, daily exercise. Don't be sedentary. You know, a lot of the things I've been doing recently is just being healthy about my work-life balance. I've been so terrible to my body when it comes to... Man, I hope this guy isn't watching, by the way, because I'm like totally BMing him. Look, if you're the guy playing right now, full respect for playing multiplayer, man. We all started at the beginning when we're just sort of getting our legs. I can tell he watches a lot of multiplayer too, because he did bring Malice, so he obviously knows about the meta. So like, if you're watching, man, no, you're like, I'm so happy that you're playing multiplayer, but man, oh man, are we doing well in this battle? Oh my goodness. Yeah, I've been on this build for a while now. When I was training up Zone, sort of my new, sort of a new player to the scene, in my good old ODM clan, we played like daily. It was like every single day we would log on, and then we would play for at least 2 hours, and then I would stream multiplayer content on top of that, trying to find the most broken things I can, getting some more multiplayer experience with like all the other content creators. So like, yeah, like someone like Falcon, if he's like just getting into domination now, it would be not easy at all. It would be pretty rough indeed. Hey, look at that, he's even bringing Pit of Shades. This guy actually does know the meta. And he did some pretty good, sort of loadouts on his Castle Lords. That's a lot better than most people do. Honestly, it might just be the fact that the indicators on this map are so hard to see. Because Croak, all the indicators are white, and we're on a white map. This is the easiest map to land these devastating spells on. Like, if you really want to ruin someone, you bring like Wind of Death on this map, or you get Lord Croak, and they will just annihilate everything, man. How's the Larry Blob been doing? Actually, terribly. Larry Blob has, like, High Elves are in such a bad place right now. They really have no shot. But there we go, GG. Well played to my opponent. I think it really was just the fact that he missed a couple big spells. we sort of just really punished him for that. But if you do see Lord Croak, that is 100% what you want to look out for. It's terrifying, man. But nice, hey, there you go, there's another win. Let's go ahead and update that real quick. Nice, 4th win of the day. Lizardmen are doing hot, man. Croak, really good way to spend all of your Winds of Magic. All the Saurus are amazing. They'll generally trade pretty well. Even into the newly buffed Dread Swords. Or no, Bleak Swords. There we go. Man, Dread Swords just doesn't have the same ring to it. But yeah, you know, good game. Now, we're going to quickly turn on the blood again. I turn off blood for my videos just because I think it's a little bit distracting. But over here, I think we can have it enabled. There we go, blood effects. I like to have them pretty low. There we go, that should do. All right. Now, where were we? Ranked matchmaking. That's multiplayer lobbies. There we go. Enticity, will you bless us with a vampire count win farming or campaign soon? Well, Cooper, I already have a vampire counts campaign with the maximum difficulty settings that CA have given to us so far. So you can check that out if you want. Honestly, it was a very fun campaign. Lots of dogs. It's good stuff, man. Good stuff. All right. Now, what are we looking at here? Lizardmen. Yes. It's a land battle. And he's gone. And he's gone. I think that's like the 3rd time today or 2nd time. On a scale of 0 to 10, how important is dodging spells in the current game? I would say about a 7. About a 7, maybe 6.5. There's a lot of core mechanics that you have to get down that is more important than dodging spells. Some people will abuse you. I think that's the 4th time today. Some people will try to abuse that fact by taking lords like Croak, very high damage spells, that sort of make use of people not being able to dodge. But overall, army building is very important. Like, you can lose 1,000 gold, like, you know, 10% of your army just by bringing an inefficient army. You can easily throw away your lord, which is like 3,000 gold, about 30% of your army if you're not careful. So it's a little bit, like, there's a lot of other things that are more important. But after you sort of get over that hurdle, dodging spells starts to become a lot more important. Who's the best Lizardman Lord? I'd say probably, whew, man, actually, you know, that's a bit of a hard one. Master Mundi got nerfed pretty hard, so I don't think he's like, you always want him, especially in domination. Probably in land battles, but I'd say, I don't know, maybe Krokgar, maybe Mazda Mundi, or even a generic Slon. Yeah, you've been losing your Lord? There you go. Yeah, make sure your Lord stays alive, 100%. Lots of Lord sniping cheese too, indeed. Yeah, these are people on Twitch, by the way, chatting it up. We do have a little bit of a Twitch chat community going on, so it's always nice to see you guys. Oh, and it's a Cathay on Death Pass. Now, Cathay, from what I've heard, is... Oh, no, this is not a land battle. Okay, never mind, we're fine. You know what? Let's just try to army wipe them. Let's play it like it is a land battle. I think that could be pretty fun. So, I would like to go for, obviously, a pretty heavy Saurus army. Saurus front line to sort of march in. But I would like to go for sort of a monster disruption style. So, essentially what I want to do is rush in with something like a... You know what? Do we even want Krokgar here? Probably. You know, oh yeah, someone did say Nakai. Yeah. Let's go the Nakai action. So we're going to bring Nakai. We're going to bring his damage resist. He's going to rush right on in there and cause as much havoc as he possibly can. Physical resist buff is nice. I do have to be a bit more efficient here because it is Dom. Life is not as easy here as it is otherwise. I will take the golden tribute though, since that was recently buffed. Yeah, and we're just going to go for a full-on rush. So I would say if you want to do a full-on rush, Stegodons can be really scary, but because it is Cathay, Bastildons are slightly better. Cheaper monsters is always nice if you don't want them to get exploded. And then my main summoned units are going to be Pterodon Riders and Feral Cold ones. As for the rest of my main army, it's going to be a lot of sort of just full-on mobility. Could even bring a Feral Stegodon, but first things first, I need a caster. Gonna bring the Manticore Summoner as usual. Flock of Doom, better on domination. On foot to keep them cheap. And then the rest of it is probably gonna be a bunch of Red Cresteds. I feel like Red Crested should be pretty good here because of their high armor piercing. They generally, I don't think he'll be taking a lot of archers either, so I could see these guys doing well. Though my money spending situation's a bit janky. There we go, that'll do. Nice. Take a few more Red Cresteds. I think they will be amazing versus Cathay. We don't really need anti-large. Maybe some cavalry if he brings some Jade Lancers. I don't think that's super important though. And then I think we're fine. I think we're fine. Yeah, is there anything else I really need here, guys? Croxagores? Yeah, Croxagores. They're sort of meh. Here, I'll run two of them just for you guys. Then maybe a Razordon in case he has a Terracotta that I need to kill. But here's the plan. Here's the plan. We're going to rush them with this main army down the middle. We're going to flank them with cold ones. And then we're going to drop a million rocks on top of them. And then hopefully we just army wipe them. I want to get a heavy flank action going with maybe two of my Saurus and some of my cavalry. And then that should spread them thin enough where we just get the full envelopment, and then his guns will basically do nothing, I think. Bring the Coatl. Oh yeah, the Coatl. The Coatl's pretty funny right now. It has capture weight. When it comes to multiplayer, there are a few bugs, but from what I can tell, people are pretty happy about Immortal Empires. Has anything sort of cropped up yet that makes you guys unhappy about Immortal Empires? Speak now, chat. Speak now, because I know I know there was a bit of a kerfuffle earlier, right? A couple of months ago when Warhammer 3 launched, where people said a lot of content creators backpedaled on their reviews. Well, how about you guys try to review? Do you think Immortal Empires will be good in the long term? Do you think that it'll be that it's sort of not really great right now and needs improvement? A bit too easy and too hard confederations. Interesting. I'm seeing a lot of people saying that it's too easy. That's really weird because a lot of the feedback that people gave before was that it was too hard. Like a lot of people, they're like, I don't want the AI to cheat, but I want the game to be more difficult. Feels like a cake and eat it too type situation, but obviously I think this doesn't invalidate people's opinions about things. Everyone does want their cake and eat it too. Playing Cathay right now. For some reason, Village just teleported over the Bastion. Oh, dang. Well, yeah, that's a bit of a problem, ain't it? Confederations are fine. You just have to work for it. Interesting. I'm seeing mixed reviews right now. I do hope that sort of future updates help fix things. Now that they're not developing, you know, immortal empires as a whole, I think at the very least, Creative Assembly should, like, we can expect, hopefully, more frequent updates. And then that would, you know, hopefully that just sort of fixes everything. But we'll see. Time will tell. Time will tell. Let it be known. Your reviews have been placed in chat, though. Is there a way to choose one mode instead of multiplayer? The only way right now is by leaving the match and then requeuing. It's pretty janky, not gonna lie. Many people are not fans of that, but that is simply the way that it is. Now he's gonna summon in artillery over here, firing at good old Nakai. Artillery is obviously a little bit scary, but it's mostly just something that I have to micro against. And he can tell that I'm microing, so he's gonna retarget into my Saurus. Not too bad. Not too bad at all. Now, based on his composition, he has mostly spears. This means that overall, I don't really need a lot of... You know what? I can back up here. I'm going to wait for the full envelopment. Just for safety's sake, I'm going to worry about capturing first, and then we'll go for the big dive. But yeah, I'm going to pull away from the middle, and then go for a big push down the center line. In the meantime, maybe we get some Flock of Doom action going on these guys. There we go. That'll hurt him up quite a bit. And the plan is just to summon a million Pterodon riders, fly over all of his units, rock drop the expensive guys, and then we'll be totally fine. Yeah, then we should be good. Now, do I want Croxagores? That's a big... Wow, Flock of Doom did some damage there. Oh my goodness. I gotta say, I knocked Flock of Doom earlier. I sort of said that it wasn't super exciting. I will say, I'm a bit of a changed man now. Flock of Doom does seem to do a little bit more damage than one may have initially thought. You know, maybe it was just, maybe it was a Warhammer 2 thing. Maybe it was a me thing. Well, you know, maybe we'll never know. But definitely nowadays, it's a pretty nice spell. Not gonna lie. Now, you can tell he's splitting up a bit. That is gonna make it a little bit less effective, but I think we can still catch a lot of units here. We're gonna capture some points. Nice. And then my skink can sort of just get away, get out of there. Now, first things first, we're going to start the envelopment. I want to dive in on these guys. Mostly ignore these Jade Warriors to make sure I'm taking as efficient a fight as possible. And then, he has his Lord in the sky. That's totally fine. Let's see here. Yeah, we're just going to save up for the rock drop. So I want to rock drop the Dragon Guard. And that's going to help my Saurus push through the middle. Once they're through, they'll be able to do great against the archers, so I don't really see too many problems there. And this is generally what you want to do when it comes to bringing on when it comes to rock dropping. You usually just want to go for that full-on frontline break rather than dropping the back line. It's just a little bit more efficient. So nice, here we go. The main engagement is underway. We're playing this sort of like a land battle. Not usually how I would recommend playing domination, but it's certainly a fun way to go about it. Now these spears are going to be trying to block up my skinks. Thankfully we can sort of work our way around them. Very nice. Rock drops are setting up for his halberds. Very good. And then we should be diving in on his ranged soon enough. So first things first, let's go ahead and drop on these guys. There we go. Just gotta line it up. Pull back with the Croxagores. Very nice rock drop over there. These guys are just in a beeline for the back line. And nice. He's doing some pretty good maneuvering. He's doing some pretty good maneuvering to sort of get his guys out of harm's way here. But I think it's going to be getting pretty rough in a second here. Now, he does have a couple crane gunners. I think that's going to hurt him a little bit, as they are a little bit susceptible to the Pterodons. I think I might be able to poke them down. As for the Celestial Dragon Guard, I think this final wave of rock drops should be the end of them. Should be a pretty easy route for them, I would say. There we go. Get the double rock drop. Nice. And we're starting to push through into his backline. Very, very good. Yeah, welcome to Lustria. It's pretty rough. The Croxagores are now pushing through. His backline is completely just ravaged now, and we have the triple cap. And yeah, this is sort of the main problem. Lizardmen are really good at pushing into your backline if they want to, Because on one hand, they can harass your backline by just going right for it. Ooh, the de-summon. That's a pretty hot tech. I like it. But yeah, anyways, Lizardmen with the rock drop pterodons, it's a menace, man. And this sort of comes from land battle tech, where you would sort of happily just get a lot of rock drop action to sort of help out with the initial engagement. So nice. I think we played a pretty nice trading game here. He's doing pretty well with this cavalry control, honestly. Not too bad play, but yeah, at this point, I don't think there's really much he can do. He did manage to secure that backside, but it's just rough. Yeah, this guy, he's going pretty hard on the combined arms. Honestly, it's not the worst idea ever. It's just that we're getting so many efficient trades, especially against those Celestials. They got annihilated, man. Yeah, I think we're starting to get into the territory where we can spawn camp them. Usually spawn camping is, well, actually most of the time spawn camping's a terrible idea. You don't want to be doing it at all, but in this situation, because it's an easy way to deal with his range, I'm sort of fine doing it. We're really ahead, so I think we'll be fine. Ooh, nice. That's a pretty nice Dragon Talon spell over there. We do get his Celestial Dragon Guard routed, though. No harmony bonuses for you, my good friend. And now we push forwards to just spawn camp him until the end of times. I'll wait for some cavalry. A lot of people, by the way, so quick tip about domination. A lot of people tend to overreact when it comes to domination for capture points. So a lot of people will see their points getting captured and they'll just immediately summon the cheapest unit they can to try and defend it. This is typically a very bad idea. Just a general heads up for anyone who's playing domination. I see it a lot even with very strong players who are new to domination. It's just a common mistake because most of the time it doesn't matter if you're slowing down your capture by 20 seconds, because if they're gonna kill your units and then capture anyways, you're still not doing very hot. Just a few words of advice. Tomb King Lord for PvP, the best Tomb King's Lord for PvP? I'm not entirely sure. There's like, you know, there's some good ones. I would say Cetra probably. Cetra or Arkan the Black are very good options. Khalidah's definitely not really a good one. The generic Lord is an okay one. I'd say that's generally what you can look at here. Yeah, this place is, I could probably go for the triple cap too. You know what, let's just start. Let's just get the triple cap. You know, end the suffering a little bit. What's the biggest strength of Lizardmen in multiplayer? I see someone already saying versatility. That's definitely one of their big strengths. They have versatility, and the only versatility they don't have is not having a lot of gunpowder, but they have more than enough tools to make up for that. They don't need gunpowder to deal with monsters, as we saw with the Kugath. Let's see, and would you say it is different from their strengths in campaign? Strengths in campaign is sort of weird, because I hazard to guess that basically everything is very strong in campaign. It's hard to have something that doesn't do well as long as you can micro it well. Though obviously some units will do better than others, so I don't know. What do Lizardmen have going for them in campaign? I'm not entirely sure, honestly. But if we're talking dinosaurs, almost assuredly that is a strength in both multiplayer and campaign. But nice, pretty good match. Nakai did okay. He didn't, like, you know, he disrupted some range units. The biggest thing here, though, obviously, the Pterodon Riders. They all paid for themselves, but mostly what they did was they routed off the Dragon Guard very quickly. And that's very important here, because the Dragon Guard were sort of the biggest threat to me, and I really wanted them out of the picture as soon as possible. So, yeah, there we go. Pretty nice. In fact, I think this is the one that routed off instantly, or maybe he resummoned it. No idea why he's at full HP, but there you go. Yeah, blessed spawns. It's too bad you can't get them in multiplayer, but what can you do? Any plans for a head-to-head campaign? Not right now. From every test I've done with head-to-head campaigns, they usually don't really do too well on the channel. I don't know why. Because it's obviously requested a lot by people, but it's just not really mass appeal. We'll see, though. I might be able to find a format that works. Anosaurus are amazing in multiplayer. if you want to do well, you can spam Saurus and they'll do great. Hey Hammond, thank you very much for the 5 USD. For any new players to multiplayer, can you explain why it's good to not just have fear, but fear and terror? Yeah, so terror is one of the most important things ever because it essentially lowers the leadership of the enemy by 14. And that is huge. That is huge. It turns Saurus warriors into ogre bulls, or trolls even, or it turns ogre bulls into trolls, right? Essentially what you see is terror is it's huge, right? If you do that comparison, the dwarves, what do you even do against the dwarves here? Let's see, I'll get into the explanation in a second here while I figure out how I want to play this out. I think mostly we want, honestly, dwarves could be a little bit scary here, but I think we still have a leg up. But yeah, sort of the biggest thing. Let's see, how did you play this? I think it was like, you go a bunch of Saurus and Skinks. Or do I just go like a full Lizardmen melee infantry build? Stegodons are obviously great. I want 2 of them. And then Gorok is amazing here. He'll kill everything. Yeah, we'll deck him out. We'll really deck him out. You know what? Just make him an absolute beast. Just an unkillable god. But yeah, when it comes to terror, you can think of it as an army-wide leadership buff if you maneuver the terror-causing unit. So the Coatl Fund. All right, sure. You know, I'll get a Coatl for you guys there. Are you happy? Are you happy? Look at what you've done. I have a Coatl in my reinforcements now. But yeah, that's the general gist of it. But sort of the thing that you need to be careful about terror is you need to make sure that they're bouncing around to cause the leadership debuffs on these guys. But essentially that's why it's so good. Fear, of course, fear also decreases leadership too. But terror really takes the cake. A leg up on the dwarves. Oh boy, is that what I said? Whoopsies. But yeah, that's the general gist of it. I guess terror routes in general usually most of the time become full routes too, which is great. Routing units can get in the way of range. It's just amazing, man. It's just amazing. Against any faction that can terror route, you always want to bring terror. Either on a cheap unit or on your lord or a big single entity. You definitely want it. Oh, and actually, this is a matchup where Coxagores are actually quite good. Let's go ahead and run those guys too while we're at it. Pterodons are okay against gyrocopters if that is what he decides to go for. Yeah, this should be fine enough. I don't think... oh, I guess magic. I guess I should take magic. Where my skink priest at? Where is he at? There we go, skink priest. And then, as usual... You know what? Let's spice it up. Let's get a comet priest going. For the lulz. For the lulz. There we go. Even gets us some more red crusteds. Nice. Yeah, no magic. Almost forgot it. I actually caught myself this time. But yeah. Yeah, leadership debuffs are huge in this game because that's the difference between a unit routing in 2 minutes and a unit routing in 3 minutes. And 60 seconds is a lot of time for them to stall your guys and to do damage. Yeah, it's just so huge. The leadership debuff is crazy. It's like, yeah, like trolls. We all know trolls have terrible leadership. And you turn in normal, like, Empire State troops into trolls. It's huge, man. Especially, like, sort of manipulating terror is really, really good. Because, yeah, being able, like, making a unit route, it's just too important, guys. I haven't really fully formulated how to emphasize how important it is. Maybe I'll, you know, I am making a new tutorial series for new players. So I'll sort of look into that. But yeah, anyways, thank you, Matthew, by the way. I did see your $2 US donation for the Coatl Fund. We got it in there, man. We got it in there. But yeah, I am covering all the stats in the game. So my most recent video covered armor. And the next one is covering leadership. So I think that's actually... that should be a pretty good fit. But yeah, for the build today, he's bringing some cannons. He's got the Thorek, Ironbrow. He has a long beard. It's pretty nice build, A couple dwarf warriors on the left side. But we're going to be doing the thing that is very annoying for dwarves to deal with on this map. And that is fully and completely, utterly dominating this left-hand flank over here. If he cannot take this capture point, it means that he has to travel all the way down this path over here. This travel distance for dwarves is about 3 minutes. That's like a quarter of the game. So he's going to be dramatically down on units when he's taking a fight over here. And I'll be rapidly reinforcing. I'll have a huge flanking force on the left-hand side. It's going to be a pretty rough time. Now, what he does have are very good units for trading. Of course, the cannons are good for that. Of course, dwarf infantry overall are very nice. But overall, we're just going to be making it very hard for him to get his maneuvering going. He does have a gyro bomber. I'm going to try and counter that with the pterodon rider, as that will make it a little bit more busy. It might kill the pterodon riders, but if I can just keep it sort of occupied and running away, I'm pretty happy. Yeah, the poor tiny little legs. They just can't travel fast enough, apparently. Now we'll see if he decides to push aggressively over here. I would say that's almost a necessity. There's no way he's going to take this side. But I will have a very easy time sort of making my traversal across this way. Especially if most of these guys go all the way here. His cannons will more or less be undefended. And that's obviously a very bad situation to be in. Now, he will be getting a bit of damage on my stegodons. Not a huge fan of that. But I think we're more or less fine here. This point's going to get captured super quickly. And then we can start our long march up and to the north. There you go. We can see he's abandoned his victory point to attack mine a bit faster. Honestly, I don't blame him. It is sort of needed here, but now the predicament for my opponent. We have a bunch of units slowly making the traversal. And then as for me, I have a whole load of units over here that are going to be giving him some trouble on the flanks. Now, my pterodons aren't going to do too well. You know what? Do we save up for the coatl? Maybe we just straight up save up for the coatl. We'll see. But this is a bit of a sort of blob fight that I'm taking here that I would sort of not recommend to most people. I'd say, yeah. We're taking a lot of damage from the artillery pieces. But overall, I'm still sort of very happy to take this engagement, as he basically has nothing over here defending. So even if he does summon, I believe we'll be totally fine. As for this, I see we do have some Bugman's Rangers over here, causing me a few issues. In fact, my pterodons are getting a little bit occupied. A fairly nice summon, I would say, for my opponent. But now the question is, can he actually take this, stop my stegodons from pushing forwards? He has some summons, but does he have the infantry? We'll see. We'll see. I'm going to summon some Croxagors here, do a big loop around with my guys over on this side. And then, yeah, just keep pushing forwards. I don't think Oroc's in much danger. We do have a Comet of Cassandora if we really want to drop that down. These Ulthar's Raiders should be in for a very nasty surprise with the rock drops coming. There we go. Shut down the artillery pieces. Get the skinks on the slayers, because that's a very good trade for me. There's a terror route over there. And then now we're starting to ravage his backline. Here we go. The pain of all dwarves. I can hear him already. I can hear the suffering. Yeah, because now he has to make the trek all the way back to his main defensive point. He doesn't have nearly enough guys over here to help cover this situation. Some slayers are in here, but the Saurus are going to be doing very well, and we're sort of pulling him apart here. Some nice gyro bomber drops though, and honestly I wouldn't count him out entirely in this situation. Trading is actually going decently in his favor here, but question is, can he defend this point? We have a bunch of guys moving on in, and soon enough I will be able to sort of just pile on. He might not have enough capture weight here, is sort of what I would worry for most in this situation. We'll see, though. We'll see. You know, the cannons are actually still online and operational. Comet might be able to solve that problem, though. Ulthar's Raiders are more or less out of the picture, but look at that. The Dwarf Warriors actually managed to hold there. Perhaps there is a little bit of grit to this dwarf. We'll see, though, because now over here we have good old Gorok on a mission to end the life of Thorak. And he might run into some issues when it comes to actual capture weight, I believe. We'll see though, we'll see though, it really depends. I think my gambit on taking out the artillery pieces was a bit of a bad play, but going on to capture this middle point is going to be working out very well for me. So a few pluses and minuses. A nice Thunderer summon too, honestly. He's garrisoning up pretty well there. You know what? Spawn camping was always a bad idea. Let's not spawn camp. And instead we're going for the plan B. The plan B is going to involve just capturing all 3 points and making it where he can't capture. Because obviously he's trading really well here. Definitely don't want to fight him there. And then, yeah, we're just going to go for the victory point play instead. One of the main problems with Dwarves is that they have a very hard time actually, they have a very hard time capturing points. Like I said earlier, it's like about a 3-minute trek from here to here. And in that time, I can more or less summon whatever units I want to hard counter him. So that's going to be pretty rough. Thorak on the run, trying to get out of range of Gorok. Definitely something you want him doing. And for my Croxagores, it looks like they're doing okay enough against the Longbeards, I'd say. Nice, yeah, I'd say we're in a good position now. Just have to be a little bit wary. And then, you know what, maybe at this point we can start saving up for the Coatl, since I know you guys are fans. Yeah, Gorok's on the hunt. What does JFC stand for? I'll look it up. Let's see. JFC is JFC acronym? JFC acronym. Oh, I see. yeah, no, we're doing pretty good here. Although, you know, the value trading is not like super bad for him, you know. He is trading up. The biggest problem is just that he can't hold any of these points for the life of him. A lot of it is because of his sort of ranged focus. That's going to be causing him issues, so. Yeah, because like he has to run his ranged onto the point just to capture. That's going to be rough. Yeah, no. I looked it up, guys. We got there. Yeah. Look. I don't know why I didn't know it. Don't judge me, chat. Don't judge me. Jeez Louise. Look. I like to keep it PG. All right. I guess it is mostly PG. Actually, yeah, I guess that is pretty PG, but you know, there's always stuff about religion. You don't want to talk about religion too much overall. So I like to go with the Jeez Louise, you know? Yeah. Good old when I get real surprised, I'm like, "Oh my goodness gracious me. What do we have here?" Oh man, I don't know why. I guess it just comes with the years of I don't know. I never really had a lot of exclamatories when I was in school. I was that kid. I was definitely that kid, guys. Oh boy. Hey, can we get the Coatl yet? Not yet. We'll get it there in a second, guys, though. Mark my words, the Coatl is incoming. Soon enough. Jeez, it's so expensive. It's so expensive, man. Man, the Uldar's Raider is actually coming back too. I gotta say, you know, usually this is a pretty bad matchup for Lizardmen. So it is nice to see Dwarves have a little bit of oomph. But overall, I think he has a really hard time capturing points. We did a really inefficient play, sort of trying to make that big loop around with a lot of very slow units. We would have been much better suited having Saurus pushing straight down the middle, like so. And then Red Cressids, like maybe 2 of them making the loop around. What's sort of really painful here that you can do instead is just ignoring the cannons. There we go. Here, we got the Coatl, guys. But yeah, the cannons over here, these bad boys, take a look at the value. They did okay, right? But it's towards the end of the game. They didn't really win the game for the Dwarves, unfortunately. I feel like that's sort of the problem. Maybe if games lasted a little bit longer, it'd be fine. Also, by the way, guys, I'd like to bring attention to the fact that this game is lasting less long than land battle games. It's a bad argument, guys. I don't know what you guys are talking about. I don't know, though. It's sort of weird, because it feels like, I think the stakes, I think that's what it is. The stakes in, oh wow, he's really going hard on this point. I guess we'll stall him up with a few summons. Anyways, back to ranting. Where were we? Yeah. So, it feels like the stakes are sort of gone. because at this point we sort of know that he's lost it at this. Yeah, we know that he's lost it. But there's still a lot of army on the battlefield. So you don't get sort of that nice slow wind down that you get with land battles, or sort of the nice wind down where it's like, oh, they're down to the last unit, you know, when it's about to end. You get more of a nebulous, like, it's gonna end in 1 minute, guys. Which is not nearly as exciting, obviously, right? Gonna get a nice banishment over here. But yeah, it's not nearly as as exciting or interesting. Because it's just a countdown clock. It's not like, you know, the last stand of Thorak, right? You can sort of make that interesting, but I would say that's probably it. There's like a few too many units towards the end of the game. I don't know, maybe if you like reduce supplies, that could do it, but honestly, I don't think it's that much of a problem. Clearly the problem is that there weren't enough cannons. I think so, there you go. It's weird, because they almost always trade up for themselves, especially if you desummon them. It's just that they have so little battlefield impact. You know, the rest of your army suffers so that the cannons can do well. It's a sad time for them. But yeah, there we go, pretty nice game. GG, he did well. Well played, well played. I think the value trading was really nice. He just didn't really have a lot to capture. A lot of his ranged didn't feel like they were very high impact. I guess a few. We misplayed heavily there, and the poor dwarf still got annihilated. My goodness, that was a brutal one. GG though, GG. Yeah, Kawaddle was a bit of a meme there, yeah. Maybe a little bit. The no respect Kawaddle. Look, chat donated, okay? Don't look at me. I'm a respectable man. It's all chat's fault. Oh boy. Yeah, so what I had a crazy idea, guys. Hear me out. Maybe I'll turn this into a clip so CA will turn it into a thing. Think about this. Give the cannons capture weight with range, right? Is this not an amazing idea? Because what is capture weight but showing your dominance on the battlefield, right? It's not like the dogs aren't just raising tiny little flags for you to capture the points. No, it's just representing how much sort of influence you have, right? And if that's the case, Vampire Coast, interesting matchup. If that's the case, right, why not give cannons like 500 range capture weight? Make it like really low, because obviously they don't have that much influence, but then that way they can actually fight and capture at range. Then you give range units capture weight, so give like quarrelers 150 meter range capture weight. So that way, just like any melee infantry, they can participate in fighting units on the point and capture at the same time. I feel like this is like a brilliant idea. I feel like this could actually make range units work, because sort of the big problem right now is that they get their value, but they don't actually cap at all. I feel like this could be it. Yeah, something at least to test. I don't know. Maybe it's a terrible idea. The dogs are raising flags? Alright, yeah, you know what? I guess I can't really argue against that. You know? The cannonballs... Yeah, it doesn't make sense for the cannonballs to raise flags. Under the raise flag mentality, I think you've got me, guys. What am I doing today? How do we beat the Vampire Coast? I don't know, what? So I just go for like a lazy man's build of Saurus. I feel like I've been spamming Saurus every single domination game. Let's spice it up. We're gonna go the million stalker build. A million stalker. All the range you can imagine. Vampire Coast has nothing on this. I have nothing to kill single entities. And the Croxagors, the Stegodons. I don't know, throw in a Croak. He's pretty cool. What am I doing with this build? I don't know what I'm doing. Jeez, you know what? Let's do the hyper inefficient build. It's Lizardmen, guys. Lizardmen are strong. They'll be fine. I don't know. Yeah, it's Vampire Coast. I personally rate Vampire Coast as terrible. Absolute garbage in multiplayer right now. So let's just meme it up. Remember the magic? Yeah, we got the magic. Croak is sort of an easy win versus people that don't dodge. It's sort of a nice fallback where if I'm starting to fall behind, I can just cheese these new players into winning. So yeah. Oh, by the way, you want to see a fun strat, guys? You want to see a fun strat? Here. So here's a secret thing. I genuinely believe now. Don't tell CA, okay? I genuinely believe that we have a lot more influence than we think if we post videos, right? Because now we know Creative Assembly. Now we know that they watch my videos, right? So if I can, sorry, let me just, I'm sort of just getting this jankiness set up real quick. Let's see, how's this set up? How do you get them to, I know you can deploy on the edge of the map. Trust me, guys. Let's see, how do you, was it like, I saw it flash for a second. It's like a pixel wide. It's like a pixel wide gap. Trust me, guys, I'm not going insane. Come on. Oh, come on, the bit. Do it for the bit. I know you can do this. I guarantee you can do this. Oh, boy. All right, maybe this side. Maybe this side. I want to get the full Vanguard on him. Try selecting one unit. I feel like you can do it with both. Ah, come on. It flashed for a second there. It was like while I was zooming in my camera like this. Ah, come on. Come on. All right. Well, you know what? I have something else to complain about. You know what? We're changing gears. Screw that bit. CA. You know what the most annoying thing in multiplayer is that no one gets to see because most people are just viewers? This panel right here. Do you see the problem with this panel? This has been in the game for, I'm gonna rant while the game's playing out. Okay, look, this here, he brought a build that's very good against mine. This right here is the most annoying thing in the game. If Kroq-Gar is in melee and I have a bunch of units stacked up, I can't see his HP is hard to select, right? I want to select them. Guess what? They put the UI summoning panel directly on top of your Lord. Most people hotkey their Lord on 1, which means they're gonna be on the left side, and they're always gonna be covered. I don't know why this is not like 1 inch higher. Like, I don't even think it would be that hard of a thing to fix. Like, obviously, programming is, you know, I have a conspiracy theory. I think Creative Assembly, I think this has been on the low priority list for so long. And I'm gonna flex my content creator muscles a little bit to try and get this fixed. Because this is probably the least polished thing about Warhammer multiplayer right now. We are having new players join the game, and they're like, they have to close this menu to select their Lord at all, to see their HP. This is why people are losing their Lords all the time. You know what else is really annoying? This right here. Why does my camera have to fly to the reinforcement point when I'm summoning units? I can't stop it from zooming, right? If I wanted to zoom there, I would spend the 3 seconds to zoom there and then, you know, see the cool sort of summoning animation. Like, what's going on? Domination multiplayer, like, the game is, you know, there's a lot of, like, there's some balance issues and stuff, but this has been in the game for ages, man. Bloody ages. Yeah, I know the double crab, it's crazy, man, but like, oh my goodness, it's so frustrating, guys. It's because it feels like it's so simple. It feels like it's so simple, but then it just stays in. It just stays in. It never goes away. And I feel like if I don't make enough of a fuss about it, it will just stay in forever. So that's my Enticity mission to try and get that fixed, because genuinely it's yeah, it does feel, it feels like a little bit of a mess there. Just a little bit of a mess. I don't know. I don't know. Like, I'm not. Chat's more surprised about the double crap. This is the problem with the Warhammer viewing experience. I show the thing that's been a pet peeve of mine for like half a year now. I've been unable to look at my Lord for half a year, and I look at chat, and you guys are like, "Wow, look at that! That's a crabby build. Look at those crabs, man! Double crabs, pretty nice." Chat, you've forsaken me. You've absolutely forsaken me. I don't know how we could make a better hint. Literally nobody cares about my qualms. You know what? Maybe I'm just wrong. Maybe it actually doesn't matter, you know? Like, honestly, the multiplayer scene, if it can get by with multiplayer people, like, you know, I'm gonna be playing regardless. Whether or not multiplayer has some like these weird janky UI things. If I keep playing multiplayer, it doesn't matter that it's janky, right? So, you know, there is a bit of that to say for sure. So maybe it's that, maybe it's that. Anyways, what are we doing here? We have a double Leviathan. I'm gonna counter with a double Stegodon and a Razordon. Armor piercing galore, that's gonna do great over there. And then we're just gonna bomb drop these guys. Get those deck gunners out of the picture. Really want those guys shut down as much as possible. Rock drops actually do pretty good damage there. I wouldn't have expected it. And then over here, we got the Gorok. And it's just a couple animated Hulks and Noctilus. Sweet. So we should be able to win this too. No problem. I don't know. Enticity is gone. Yeah. Just... I guess, you know what? I guess multiplayer is just about memes, isn't it? I guess if CA just made multiplayer more of a meme-focused thing, I guess that really is what drives multiplayer. This is shocking, guys. This is absolutely shocking to me. This is a revelation. You know, when you realize that your entire existence, it really is just a circus, you know? Maybe CA should just add more Coatls to the game. I guess it is. The cursed animated Hulks, honestly, they got buffed. They're actually meta right now, believe it or not. Yeah, you know, multiplayer is just about Lord Croak. Oh my goodness, I've been wrong my entire life. I thought this was all about esports. I thought this was like competitive action, but no. No, it's not. Oh man, anyways, I think it's pretty fun. Though, if you are listening, I think I was just proven wrong. We were proven terribly wrong. Oh my goodness. Oh yeah, yo, if he sends in bloated corpses, that would be amazing. You should not spawn camp. Continue to spawn camp every game. Yeah, I guess I did give advice and then totally go against it, but like, come on, man. Come on, we're just having a good time. How's Gorok doing? He's getting thrashed a little bit, but I think he's still doing pretty hot. Razordons are doing great, though, against these crabs. We more or less just hard countered his build here today. I will say, though, this is quite a bit more fun than playing, you know. Well, I don't know. I like the competitiveness of dealing with the Slaanesh builds. I will say I'm surprised how little Slaanesh we're seeing today, though. Yeah, he bought Death Guard, too. He brought Death Guard, and they've been chasing Chameleon Stalkers for the entire day. Go Dwarves, Esben. It's called Lizardmen Wind Farming, you madman. With the 10 DKK. Let's see, how much is this bribe? DKK to CAD. Let's see here. That is... You gave 100. Oh my goodness, that's $17? You madman. You madman. Okay, fine. I'll take the bribe. I'll take the bribe for you. For you, that's a lot of money, man. That's like a good lunch and then some. Good sir. Good sir. You are pampering me. Yeah, we'll play Dwarfs. We'll play Dwarves next game. Yo, I accept bribes. Come on. Haven't you seen my ads? I'm a total sellout, man. I'm a total sellout, guys. Oh man, you know, I don't know how honorable I made it seem like I was earlier, but you know what? It turns out I am. Just bribery for days, you know? Do I even have to mention Raid Shadow Legends again? Do I even have to mention? Yeah, maximum corruption. I'm not gonna lie, guys. I'm not gonna lie, okay? This isn't breach of contract because I didn't sign a contract. No cap. That's what the new kids these days on Twitch say, right? No cap. Raid Shadow Legends legit sent me an email. I emailed back. I gave them an insanely high number. It was so high, Raid Shadow Legends turned me down. They were like, dude, this guy's too much of a sellout. We can't have this guy promoting our content. It's too much. Oh my gosh. I felt so bad about that. I was like, wow, is this my life now? Is this my life? I do have a number though. I'm like, because I don't want to promote Raid Shadow Legends on this channel. But if they're gonna feed me for the better part of a year, like, I'll take it, right? So I just like, anytime these like mobile companies give me a number, I just give them I just give them an insane number and then see if they take it. Cause like, look, if I put one Raid Shadow Legends ad on my channel and then I'm like, guys, legit, I can stream Warhammer for the rest of my life. It's totally worth it. All I had to do was one Raid Shadow Legends ad. And then I think people would understand if they gave me like $1 million, right? I feel like they would understand. But I don't know. Maybe I'm a terrible person. Do it. See, yeah. Oh man. I don't know. I'll keep throwing them crazy numbers. I can't believe it though. I can't believe I got turned down by Raid. Oh my goodness. Oh man. Well, at least I'm giving a reasonable number instead. Oh yeah, we have to play Dwarves. We have to play Dwarves. You got bribed. Matthew Smith with the 25 Canadian saying you might be a sellout, but you're our sellout. There you go. Yeah, let's rock the Dwarves. Let's rock the Dwarves. You know, we're nearing the end of the stream today. What? It's a land battle? Perfect. Perfect. I haven't played the Dwarves in so long, and he's gone. He's gone. Yeah. Man's gotta eat. Man's gotta eat. Oh, yo. By the way, legit. This is actually not selling out because I think it's actually pretty cool. You know that watch company that contacted me? I'm not a watch guy, so don't take my word for whether or not it's worth your money, right? But legit, it's a pretty fancy watch, okay? Man, oh man, the influence that giving me free things has is actually insane. Legit, never ever buy something just because I think it's cool, okay? Always be a good, well-educated consumer, because we all know I'm a total sellout, okay? Always focus on just, oh geez, it's Tzeentch. But yeah, always focus on like, and this is real talk here, right? My focus is I want you guys to be informed to make a decision on your purchases. That's sort of how I generally roll on how I sell things. But while we're on that topic, legit, this watch is pretty hype. This watch, I've never felt fancier in my life, because I'm a guy that drinks milk when I'm like a little bit hungry. I'm not a luxurious guy, okay? Slanesh bots have shown up, the true corruption. Block them on YouTube. Get them, put them on timeout. There we go. Yeah, this watch, legit, I feel so fancy wearing it. I feel, oh my gosh, like this, it's pretty comfortable. I wore it for a few hours, right? But I feel so classy, because I'm the type of guy that goes to McDonald's and I'm like, this hamburger is a bit too expensive. I don't really, yeah, I talked about milk, that's why, geez, man. Anyways, yeah, it's like, oh my gosh, like I'm at McDonald's, I'm like, man, price is too high. And then like I get this thing and I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel so fancy. Oh my gosh. Now, it's a pretty expensive watch, right? It's a mid-tier watch. It's nothing I would usually buy, so I'm not an authority on watches. But it's pretty hype. It's pretty hype. Oh my gosh, like legit, I wanna wear that outside. Whether it's worth your money, that's for you to decide. But oh my gosh, but like it's so weird. It's so weird being a creator and just being like, every day you have to ask yourself, like, are my decisions doing good for the world? Am I doing good for the world, or am I doing bad? In the end, I think as long as I'm not deceiving people, it's all good. I think we're fine. So that's sort of the line that I tread, you know? Because then at least if anyone blames me, I can call them a hypocrite. Legit, I stayed up so late thinking about this, guys. It was like 3 a.m. and I was thinking about about this argument, okay? So if we think about it, link the watch. Okay, sure, yeah, I'll link the watch. Let's see, where's it at? I guess now I have to add it to the thing. Let's see here. But yeah, so I'll give you my argument on what people think of as selling out, right? And then you guys can tell me if I'm insane or not for this. So fine, let's see, where's it at? Super Saiyan Village, here we go. Yeah, I'll post it there. If you guys want to check out it, you can. It's an expensive watch, but like it feels pretty nice. I will say I feel like a fancy boy when I wear it. Let's see, I need to add this to the stream too. There we go. Oh man, Man, tasting luxury. If I sat in a limousine, I think I would actually go insane. But here's my argument, okay? If you think about it, right? I work for one of the worst companies in the world, okay? I display ads for Google, all right? If you think about that, and the fact that I don't know what ads play for you guys before I start a stream, that is sort of sketch, isn't it? Right? Because people are like, yo, Raid Shadow Legends, right? Like, why are you supporting those guys, right? Why are you supporting like these guys? Like, obviously, I don't want to like, you know, get people into drugs, because then that's obviously really bad, right? Addiction and whatnot. Like, it'd be an online drug dealer. There's also a lot of stuff that, you know, I probably don't want to support, just a bad PR, or I feel uncomfortable supporting it. But there's a lot of things that people naturally support that they don't really think about. So for one, I work for Google. I promote ads that are probably terrible. I'm sure you've seen like a Coke commercial, right? That is just like, hey, share a Coke with your friend. Buy our sugar water, right? And then like, is that fine? Right? Obviously, sodas are very bad for people, right? But I have those ads playing on my YouTube channel. Even the nicest YouTube creators will rely on these, like, you know, on just basic ad revenue. Is that bad? I don't know. Like, this is the moral conundrum for me, okay? Because then you also have situations where it's like, oh, I worked at a shoe company as like a part-time job, right? I worked at a local Aldo, right? A lot of people work for it, like do part-time jobs, just like, you know, working for whatever company. And guess what? A lot of those clothes made in sweatshops, right? Like, legit, we all know this, right? A lot of the clothes, like, it is not like, there are not good working conditions for many of the people who made that clothing. That's why it's so cheap, right? And people are fine with you working at these companies, but they don't want your advertising from these companies unless it's advertising for the company on your channel. Now, it's different. There's different levels that I can advertise on my channel, where it's like, I can totally lie, right? I can be like, you know, support, like, you know, buy these dice. It'll make you better at Warhammer, right? And then it's like, that's obviously a lie. And then I'm using the trust of my audience to buy something that they don't actually want, right? And then, like, you know, then that's sort of obviously bad. But then if I do ads, right? Can I trust my audience to, like, you know, with the watch, let's say, can I trust my audience to buy the watch if they actually want it, instead of just buying it because I said it's a cool watch, right? Can I trust my audience to do that? And then, you know, then it's sort of a question. I think that's sort of the big moral quandary, right? And I would say, based on my demographics, right, most of you guys are adults about my age or older. In fact, not gonna lie, many of you guys that watch my content probably have children or are at the age where you are adults. So I think I could feel a little bit better about promoting these things, because then it's like, you know, I could sort of trust you guys to make sure that you're making good purchases that aren't bad for you, right? And then I'm more just a billboard, right? You know, no one's looking at a billboard and being like, that's an evil billboard for having a product on it that I don't want to buy. So I think it's a little bit safer. This is how I justify me making money, guys. Now, on the other hand, you could also go the route of, you know what, just don't care about it. Just promote whatever. I feel like there is a line to be drawn somewhere. But I think the line on general ads, I think even Raid Shadow Legends, as long as I'm presenting the facts rather than just straight up lying to the audience, I think it's fine. I think it's fine, because it's sort of just like a pre-roll ad for man, we annihilated that guy, this poor guy. I've just been here talking about my random moral quandaries, and then I look back and he's dead. I was basically AFK that game. That was disgusting. Never make me play Dwarfs again, guys. But yeah, I feel like overall, a lot of people draw the line past the point of just working for a company. So sort of just like doing your day job. Look, here's the thing. Here's the crazy thing. So I worked, let's see. Let's look it up real quick. Let's see. Okay, let's see. Yeah. Here we go. So think about this, guys. Here's something really weird. I worked at Honeywell, right? People are like, okay, so what? You worked for Honeywell. They make foam. They do a bit of aerospace stuff, right? It's Honeywell. They do like your thermometers, right? They're just like a random company. Why does this matter? And then you know what happens? You look up Honeywell. These guys, they make military equipment. Yeah, they make thermostats and they make military equipment. They make like let's see here. Honeywell. Let's see if I just look this up, right? Yeah, they make ballistic missiles. What? Designed and built by Honeywell? They make ballistic missiles, right? I worked for this company. Now, I didn't work in the sector of military, right? I did aerospace part. And then it's like, oh yeah, you do some cool aerospace stuff. But undoubtedly, me helping the company put money into their hands, and some of that money went into military equipment. Now most people would be like, oh, that's not like you're just like doing your day job, right? And then people would usually say like, oh yeah, whatever. But then I go to YouTube and I put up an ad and people are freaking out. So I don't know. I feel like there's an interesting discussion to be had there. But that's basically it. That's what kept me up for. That's what kept me up for 3 hours at night the other day. Fun stuff. Honestly, I think it's super interesting. What are we doing here? It's High Elves again. Grove of Slaughter. Let's go ahead and get the Saurus going. Yeah, but I think knowing that, I think Raid Shadow Legends is at least even, but I don't think Raid Shadow Legends is that much worse than that. That's sort of how I rank it. Honeywell sounds pretty cool. They do have a lot, I could have ended up in the foam sector though, because legit they just mix chemicals for foam. They do so much random stuff, it's insane. It's crazy, man. Yeah, what if someone turns up the thermostat too much? Then what? Did I cause that death? Oh man, yeah, I don't know. The world of advertising and promotion and working for companies is a weird one, man. It's weird. And honestly, I don't know how I feel. I do know though that I do like eating. So so that's what I stick with. Temple Guard are great here. What? It's just High Elves? It's just High Elves. I don't have to think about this too much, right? Get some Saurus, get some Javelins. We'll be fine. Oh, man. Honeywell makes these tablet scanner things at my work? Jeez. How big is Honeywell? Oh, my goodness. Wait, let's see. Honeywell. How much yearly revenue? Let's see. Honeywell makes... oh, my goodness. 34 billion. Oh, my gosh, Honeywell be loaded, man. Man, maybe I should have just kept doing software development over there. I will say though, I really didn't like my job at Honeywell. I was sort of ready to quit. But then I got laid off and then all was well. Legit, Honeywell, if they hadn't laid me off, I probably would not, I definitely wouldn't be here today. Gross or net? Oh, that's the revenue increase. What? I don't know. It doesn't say. It just says revenue. So I don't know. I'm only qualified in the world of Warhammer, guys. Don't expect me to know anything else other than apparently I like being pampered and well, yeah, that's basically it. And apparently I'm also a sellout. Those are my two qualities. Probably gross, no worries. Okay, sure, let's stick with that then. advertising something that I don't play is a controversial sell. It's weird, right? Because I can talk about Fortnite. Like, I can say, you know, if you enjoy... Let's talk about Fortnite for a second. If you enjoy FPS games, and you like those sort of like, you know, having like those big Battle Royale style games, Fortnite's one of the best Battle Royale games. I can say that without being a bad person, right? I'm telling you facts. And for people who would find that useful, I would say I'm doing a service for them. And this is very different from saying Fortnite's the best game in the world, give them your money, right? So it sort of depends on what you count as advertising. It's sort of weird. It's sort of weird. And you know, the moral of the story that I think something that I can always get behind is that the world is always more complicated than anyone has than you think, right? I think I can say pretty definitively, if you feel very strongly about something, like you're like, this is definitely 100% something terrible and it shouldn't exist, right? If you feel really strongly about something, I usually lean on the side of thinking that person doesn't really know what they're talking about, because I feel like, man, I wish I had Krokgar here. He would have been sick, but it's too late now. How do I salvage the situation? Feral cold ones? Yeah, let's do that. Because yeah, the world ends up being a lot more gray in many areas than I would expect, except for a few. So that's sort of my thoughts. I don't know. Mosquitoes, they shouldn't exist. 100%. Yeah, no, except for that. That's the one fact. I think, wasn't it scientifically proven that mosquitoes are just terrible and you don't need them for the environment? Wasn't that an actual thing that scientists did? Because if it is, I'm all on board with team death to mosquitoes, okay? That, like, do you know how much death mosquitoes bring upon the world? Even if, you know what? Maybe if the environment does get torn apart, maybe it's still worth it. Maybe it is. Oh man, yeah. I don't know. All I know is that I can only be qualified on talking about Warhammer. That I can be sure of. Yeah, eradicate them all. There we go. I think we found common ground, guys. Now this guy has Eltharion. Honestly, I don't think Eltharian's too hot here, because Gorok's a beast. Gorok over here is rocking. Oh jeez, it's like very hot over there. Yo, Gorok's pretty sick. All my hotkeys are messed up. Gorok has 60. He's actually, that's really low. No, that's a white lines. Gorok has 45 melee attack, 60 melee defense. He's basically Sigvald with less melee attack. He's a destroyer of worlds. Would highly recommend taking him if you just want to sit on a point. He doesn't have as much battlefield impact as someone like wow, he went for the dragons. Dang, that's sick. He doesn't have as much battlefield impact as someone like Krokgar, because he's just not nearly as mobile. He doesn't cause terror. But in general, he's actually not a terrible pick in domination. I would say definitely try him out. But yeah, dragon hype. Dragon hype. Do Lizardmen like mosquitoes? Like, if we look at a Komodo dragon, do they usually get bothered by mosquitoes a lot? I don't know how their skin actually applies there. Yeah, does anyone know? I feel like mosquitoes are usually all around Komodo dragons, though. So they would probably be happy just to not be annoyed by them. Yeah, probably, right? Because it's like, even if they don't get bit, I don't know. Are they immune to getting bit by mosquitoes? Do their like little like needles just get like, do they just break on their skin? How does that work? Are mosquitoes like a purely mammal feeding thing? How did we end up here? There was like a long chain of events that got us to what we're talking about now, but yeah, I'm not sure. Komodo dragons are quite toxic themselves. Yeah, I know. They're not especially good at chasing, but like if they bite something, like they'll just die of an infection shortly after. It's terrifying. Maybe they bite the armpits? Maybe? I don't know. Mosquitoes are worse than Honeywell? I think we could probably agree on that, but I'm sure there's someone that will be very strongly opposed to that thought entirely, so I'm not sure. I don't know. There's one thing that we do know though, and that's that Croak is really good at delivering pizza. He's amazing at delivering pizza. So good that he literally just crashed the game. Nope, just a freeze. There we go. There we go. That's a good one. A little bit of lag though, not as satisfying as I could have hoped, but oh my gosh, there's 0 cooldowns. I have to report that right now, 1 second. Let's see here, 2 CA. So Croak has 0% cooldowns on his abilities on this build. And then we'll throw in a lol at the end to show that we're good-natured about it so they don't kick me out of the program, and then we're good to go. Anyways, back to chat. How's it going? Your face is pretty wide, very epic. Is that... Reading that without any context is strange to me. But sure, thank you very much. Croak OP, please nerf. Ah, there you go. There you go. Yeah, contacts here about that. I can't believe Croak used to do double damage though when he was bugged. That was amazing. He deleted the vampire count so hard. It was great. But yeah, you know, if one thing that I've sort of noticed playing multiplayer, this is a total tangent, but it seems like there's a lot more new players playing Domination now. And I would say that's pretty cool. I'm pretty happy to see some new blood. Hopefully some of these guys, you know, they tune into the stream. They find out, they get a bit of inspiration. They join the multiplayer community because yeah, it's exciting. It's exciting. I hope the player numbers stay up, because it is important for my job, but also it's nice for the multiplayer community. It's cool to see Croak is good even without the bug. Yeah, honestly, just because it's fairly reliable at hitting infantry, I would say he's pretty nice. I would say he's pretty nice. I wouldn't say he's like super meta, but I would probably mark him as competitive. Croak as a competitive lord, I would say, just because he can just because you see so much infantry. If it's something like a land battle, there's a lot less infantry most of the time. But like in Domination, you know, they're everywhere. So there's like it's a ripe field for Croak to sort of tear into. Yeah, not hurting friendlies is really nice. It's really nice because you just plop it right down. But still though, Pit of Shades would be better, which is a crazy thing. Pit of Shades really is just that good. Arc of Sotek, but with mosquitoes. Yeah, let's make Arc of Sotek. You know, it gives them a disease and then they die like a couple battles down the line. So like next time they queue up, they can't take those units. There we go. That would bother no one in the slightest. Yo, Croak is actually so good at spending your winds of magic. Partially because he has no cooldowns, but partially because all his spells they generally are really low cooldowns. Legend of Total War got kicked off from the content creator program. Where'd you hear about this? Is that is this like what? Is this coming from Legend or someone else? Looking to get into Domination. I've never really played multiplayer. Which faction's a good to start out with? Honestly, you can probably get by, especially with so many new players, you can probably get by playing whichever faction you're most interested in. But if you want one that's generically strong, Lizardmen is actually really good. You can copy most of my builds that you've seen today, and you'll usually more or less get there. So it's sort of a nice way to start out. I have a bunch of other wind farm streams for you to check out, and they're like really good for getting into multiplayer. You just copy a build from there, take some general advice that I throw down, and then you're mostly good to go. Yeah, would highly recommend checking that. You know, maybe watch the stream multiple times. You know, give it a bit of a like, a thumbs up, perhaps. Anyways, GG. Today was a good day. I'm happy that I got my rant out. We got a 100% win rate with Lizardmen. Croak OP, please nerf. We got a win with Dwarfs of all things. Good stuff, good stuff. How is ELO calculated on the leaderboard? I'm not entirely sure. Let's see, where is it? Where is the leaderboard? Rank matchmaking? Yeah, how do you check out the leaderboard? We're sort of done playing games today, by the way. So if you guys do want to head on out, feel free to. But where is it? Campaign options? Yeah, yo, where's my leaderboard at? Credits? Movie viewer? Legend said on his stream today that him and Sia agreed that the content creator program was not working great for them. Oh, okay, I see. So pretty civil separation then, if that's the case. Yeah, okay. I think that's totally fine. Yeah. To each their own, to each their own. But let's see. Right below matchmaking. Oh, I'm blind. I'm blind. That's what it was. What do we got today? We got 10 wins. Oh my gosh. 600 wins? How's that even? What was this? Dagon, what are you doing? What are you doing? Where are we? My position. I have no position. Wait, am I not on the leaderboard? What is this cool fate? Enticity, ranked 70. Very nice, very nice. How many wins do I have? 84. Actually pretty low by most of these standards here. Nice, I'll take it. Oh, these are the bugged ones. These are the bugged these are the bugged rankings, so we can just ignore them. So minus 37. Hey, that puts us in top 50. Pretty hype. Flying cat, flying taco's cousin, I guess. Nice. Hey, pretty good. I like it. Top 70. All right, well, anyways, it's been nice chatting with you guys. I will definitely be doing more wind farm streams in the future. And I think that's basically it. Yeah, I hope you guys had a wonderful day. Honestly, it's been great hanging out with Chad again. This has been amazing. But peace out, and I'll probably see you in a few days. Bye bye.